Hi guys, it's Elena from EMP and I'm here with Jamie from COUNTERFEIT.
What up?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for your time.
You're so welcome.
So yeah, it's a pleasure having you here. And how's it going? How's the tour been so far?
It's been good. It's been really good. I kind of feel like I haven't stopped. We were in America some time ago, like a couple of months ago, and then we just did Europe, which was great. And even before America, I think we did Europe again. So it's been kind of non-stop. You know what it's like in this industry. It's like just even when the tour's finished, you're still cracking on. You're still doing things. So, but it's good. I feel really happy, and I'm always so grateful whenever I come off tour. You know, I'm just happy to see people, and it's nice to be out of the house.
Yeah, you're always on the go, basically. Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
And when you're on tour, which one is your favorite song to play live?
It changes for me. I'm really enjoying singing the song that we got at the moment called Paralysed. It's when I wrote it, it was just a really lovely song that I enjoyed singing. You know, I kind of wrote it for my voice and the way that I sing. So I love that, and we open the show with that at the moment. And then also it gets better as well. Like I remember when we were tracking it, I was really like, oh my God, I fucking conflicted and just felt really kind of just weird and out there. You know, I think that comes across in the track, you know, that sort of young person looking for that sort of sense of self in this crazy world. And then you take it on tour and I start to sort of see the response, and there's this incredible emotional uplifting moment whenever we play it every night, and there's people there crying, and it's just it's so powerful. It feels so amazing. So I'm loving that too. So the sort of opener and the closer, everything that happens in the middle, don't remember.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hear you guys live on Monday. So at Scala. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So can you tell us a funniest on the road story?
Oh my God, funniest on the road story. There's been a few kind of crazy ones that have happened. We had a girl once that came to a show and said that she bought a gun. She turned up. Yeah, it was really weird. It was actually in Italy.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think she was Italian. I think she was German. And she turned up and was trying to get backstage, and our tour manager comes over to me. Our tour manager's our dearest friend, you know, we've known him for years, and he's like, there's somebody outside who says they're here to see you. And I'm like, mate, you know me, you know, nobody, I would tell you if somebody was coming to the show that I knew. And he's like, okay. So he goes outside and he said, I'm really sorry, no. And she's like, well, she starts kicking off, and then he's like, and then I think she said something like, well, I could have a gun. And he's like, what? She's like, I could have a gun. And he's like, well, I'm going to eject you from the premises. And then she wouldn't leave the premises. So the police were called and she was removed from the premises. But I felt it played into my ego because I felt like Bob Dylan. There's a clip of Dylan when he's in the dressing room and his tour manager's there, and he's like, there's somebody's bought a gun. He's like, I don't care if somebody's bought a gun. I just don't want to know about it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of felt the same way. So that was weird. And then what else? Oh, recently in America, we've just had this, we upgraded to what's called a bandwagon, which is a sort of step up from a splitter, but a step down from a tour bus.
Yeah.
But it has a shower in it, which is really important. But every time that we were on the roads, I would choose to have a shower right when we were entering the city, not on the freeway, right when we were into the city. And so I'd be having these showers and I'd be fucking banged about, knocked about like this, and feeling really weird, feeling like I was in a tin can. So
on all the speed bumps.
All the speed bumps, all the really severe 90-degree turns, and I'm like, Jesus, this is a lot. So everything on tour is a bit of a farce, though. It's all kind of a blur. But yeah, those are probably my two fondest memories.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing them
You're
with us.
so welcome. Yeah, if anything else pops up during the interview, I'll let you know.
Yeah, just stop me and just be like, oh, actually, I thought about something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you guys are on tour, what's your favorite way to pass time between gigs?
Well, recently I've taken to staring out the window. There's a lot of time when you're sort of in the bus and stuff, it can feel like you're sort of just traveling in, sort of a darkened room. And I really enjoy sort of now sitting at the front and watching the world go by, and I'll sit with the driver a lot of the time and just be up there and sort of watch what's going by, and sort of life in different countries and different experiences. I also meditate a lot when I'm on the road as well. That's really important for me, just to sort of rebuild that strength. And and connect. But yeah, I just spend a lot of time kind of just viewing and witnessing, I think.
That's very poetic. Like I can see you like, you know, like looking outside the window, just like thinking and like, you know.
That's the image I like to create for myself.
With like some music in the background, just like thinking, like in a movie.
Writing down my life story as I go past. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thinking about the next songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, full on Kerouacking it. Yeah.
And if you collaborate with any artist, like who would you collaborate with?
Wow. Well, I think for me, like I'm a bit of a sort of like emotional kid, or I'm an emotional person. I'm not a child anymore. I must stop infantilizing myself. But I love emotional music, and obviously with the return of My Chemical Romance, I think that something like that would be amazing for me. You know, like I had the opportunity to meet Gerard recently, and like that was kind of a mind-blowing experience, you know, and I just love what that band's about and how they connect so deeply with themselves. So yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, email him. I'll send him in this interview, be like, hey, hint.
Yeah, it'd be terrifying, yeah. Fuck.
But yeah, I'll keep my finger crossed for that.
Yeah.
I want to see that now.
That'd be great.
So what's your guilty pleasure song?
At the moment, it's Katy Perry's Never Really Over.
Okay.
Love that track.
Do you want to sing us a bit?
No.
No.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I tried. Sorry, guys, I tried. Could you recommend any up-and-coming band that people should keep an eye out for?
Sports Team. Really, really cool. Like English band. Love them. Kind of sort of still punky, but kind of indie too. I love that. I mean, Idols now are obviously like massive, so you know, keep your eye out for Idols. Who've just, you know, I think they've sold out Ali Pali, so you know, they're ones to watch for sure. Who else am I into? I'm still finding my way through like American kind of emo kind of music as well. There's bands like Bad Luck, who I really like. I think they're really good. Microwave, they've been around for a minute though. They're really sick. But yeah, I definitely keep an eye out for Sports Team. For
cool,
sure.
We'll check them out. We might put the links in the caption. Yeah,
they're wicked. Yeah, shout out to Sports Team.
If you could grab a coffee with a character from a movie, TV series, or book, who would it be and why?
Fuck. Grab a coffee with any character from a TV, movie or book. Gandalf.
Nice.
Or Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. Although I feel like the coffee with Holden Caulfield would probably be really like self-absorbed. The conversation would be a lot about him, and I'd probably just have to sit there and watch him. But I think that would be really interesting. But Gandalf for sure. I feel like he'd have some really good spiritual advice to give me.
Yeah, Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book ever. I want to call my son Holden whenever I have one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those books, isn't it, that like, I don't know when you read it. I read it in my teens, you know, and like you're sort of wayward in your teens, and you find this character who's the same, you know, and you're like, oh, that kind of represents me. I kind of feel that. Yeah,
literally, that's how I felt when I read it. I was like, yeah, like it was my sister's favorite book, so I read it when I was like, 14, 15, and I was like, yes, this is it. And every time I read it, like I get new things from it, and it's brilliant. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. If you could be a superhero for a day, who would you be, and what would you do?
Who would I be, and what would I do? A superhero for the day. Probably be Batman. I know that's a very contentious argument because Batman is obviously not strictly a superhero because he doesn't have superpowers. But you know, he does have really cool armor.
Yeah.
And does look sick and drives a really nice car. So I'll probably just take his nice car for a little cruise and just like sort of rock around and show people my badass car and my badass garb. Yeah, exactly.
So you wouldn't do any good on that day. You would just. Oh no,
I would do good. I mean, if I saw bad happening, of course, you know, I would. Yeah, of course, I'm Batman. I've got to. Do you know what I mean? But like, I think I'd just enjoy being Batman for the day. You'd just be like, I'm Batman for the day. This is cool. I like this. Nice. You know, yeah, exactly.
Walking around, be like,
hey, what up, guys? Batman here.
What about a super villain?
Super villain. Green Goblin.
Oh, like, okay, yeah.
He's really cool. Or Penguin. Penguin's pretty sick as well. Or Riddler. it's sort of any of those. There's so many. I mean, Goblin would be sick. Again, you know, I really like the flying thing that he has, you know, the hoverboard thing. I think that's really sick. So I just jet around on that, and I just sort of be maniacal and evil and just maybe rob a bank.
Yeah.
Why not?
Nice.
You're Green Goblin, you can do what you like.
Yeah, and then you can buy the Batmobile.
Then I can buy the Batmobile and all the garb, and then I'll be good forever.
Good. Do you have any hidden talent?
No. Do I have any hidden talent? No. I mean, all the things that I was very fortunately, you know, blessed with and able to do, I kind of do for a living now, which is great, you know. But I mean, I surf, you know, I surf a lot. Like I love surfing. I love the water. I love the ocean. I'm a water child and I'm a water baby. So yeah, I surf a lot. But in terms of hidden talents, nothing that I haven't explored as of yet. I'll let you know.
Scrolling through your Instagram feed, like, you know, we can clearly see a transition from the black and white to a more colorful, like, aesthetic. Is there, like, a meaning behind it? Does this mean, like, a new era for the band?
I think so. I think it means a sort of new era for me as a person. I mean, the first album that we made was very dark and was very, like, absorbed in self, a lot of it. And I think with this one, I've sort of embraced a bit more joy, I think. It doesn't mean that those demons aren't still there, you know. That's a battle that we constantly have to face, you know. We have to fight them off and tell ourselves that we're all right and that we're good. But I've definitely tried to embrace a lot more like colour and joy into my life over the sort of duration of the last few years, for sure. And I think, you know, our message is still definitely one of like positive acceptance and change and growth and togetherness, but that's moved forwards from that sense of like I'm pissed off and I'm angry, and has now moved into a space where it's like, okay, yes, we feel those things, we all do, and let's talk about them because it's important, but let's try and push a sort of positive message of change and of progression a little bit more, and of joy, I think.
Because everyone goes through some shit sometimes. It's just about how to face it, like, and try to like.
All of us go through everything all the time. There's nobody. I certainly have never met anybody that's got it sorted,
figured out. No,
because that's not. It's unattainable. It's unattainable. And the most important thing is that we talk about our experience and what we are, you know, and because that makes us human. That's what life is about, you know. It's certainly not about like sitting down and like, you know, lying all the time, you know. And so in that, you know, when you start to share, and when I start to share, and when I start to talk about my experiences, there's a lot of people that come back to me and go, I know that. I've done
felt that. I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be open about how, like, because especially with social media, or like, you know, the celebrity trying to always show that like the perfect life. So it's really like good to have people like talking honestly about like, you know, their demons and like the shit they've been through, and like, you know, just show people, especially like younger audience, that life is not always like, you know, pink. And
the
like,
perfect
you know,
life doesn't exist. It's not. It's a farce. It's bollocks. It's not. It's not real. It's unattainable. And social media is like the most damaging thing that we can possibly imagine when it comes to like the spiritual growth of humanity, because you scroll through that and you see all these people being incredibly successful. That's not reality. Like reality is like in here and out here. And when we talk, you know, it's not about having the fucking Batmobile. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I think art is so important, you know, because it invokes an emotional response from the consumer of the artistic work, and that doesn't pertain to strictly just music. That can be across the board in any artistic sphere. You know, you go and look at a Rothko painting and you feel that anger and that frustration and that like confusion and that sort of nihilistic view on life immediately. And that's what connects you to self, not money, not any of that bollocks. That's all fucking transient and nonsense.
Yeah. So like, have you got like any advice, I know we spoke about it already, but if you have any advice like for some of your fans that are going through a difficult time in their life and they feel like it won't get better. So have you got anything like to say, like
talk, like share, don't be afraid. Like I know it's very hard when one feels isolated from the world and is going through a process of flux and of change. It can feel very hard to share, but sharing is the most important thing. So don't be afraid, talk. It's okay, it's all right. Everyone else has felt the same thing at some point in their life.
That's a strong message.
I try.
So what's next for Counterfeit?
The UK tour, which we start on Monday, playing London, and then we'll have a single coming out sometime in January, which will be exciting. Nice. Yeah. And then an EP will drop, and then the record will drop. But you know, it's a sort of constant continuation of the artistic process. That's kind of where I'm at. But the tour, single, EP, album, more touring. Just keep going. Just keep pushing everything out there.
Nice. So thank you a lot for your time.
You're so welcome.
So lovely talking to you. And could you please just leave us with something for your UK fans and European fans?
Down here. This guy. Hello, everyone. It is Jamie. Thank you Thank you so much for your support and for your love. And if you're thinking about coming to watch us, please do. It's a really fun experience and it's a connective experience. So we'd love to have you there. And can't wait to share new music with you and have a joyous time with you.
Nice. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Lovely.
Tested the sound and everything from the mic there. Yeah, cool.
Poo. There we go. Let's test it now. Sorry, childish.
Can we put that in the blooper?
Absolutely. Poo. Yeah, very polite. Yeah.